Hey guys, it's Mike with another Gilded Guardian Spotlight video. Today we're taking a peek at Tybor. He is a Terra Strength Imperial Warrior. So a lot going on there. So being a warrior, he's probably going to be up in the front row alongside a tank, ideally. He is going to be kind of a jack of all trades and a master of none. So warriors and mages are kind of both in that category. But the mages do have a little more versatility in their kit where they might be a little more of an expert in a particular category depending on the mage themselves, whether they do damage or support, healing, stuff like that. But in his case, he's going to do some damage for you up front and trying to stay alive. I do have the best gear I have available on him. Got him to 507,000 power. We are trying to be at 600 to 650 just to compare apples to apples. So he is pretty underpowered compared to some of the other videos. That's in large part due to my lack of ability to have a good set of strength gear to put him in, but I'm working on it. So we've got 3 pieces of tier 6 gear, 1 tier 5, and this one's only on level 3. So if we get that up to level 6, get this up to tier 6, we start to get him closer to that 600,000 power. But let's jump into his skills, see what he does and how he's going to help the team. So Rending Strikes is his ultimate ability. It's single target. Tybor becomes immune to control while performing 5 hacking attacks on an enemy, dealing 110% of attack as physical damage and causing knockback. So he's going to hit 5 times and cause knockback on a single target enemy. Body Slam, he's going to grapples an enemy and hurls them away, dealing 225% attack as physical damage and inflicting dizzy on the enemy for 3 seconds. So on this guy, it's a single target. He's causing knockback. That'll slow them down. This is a single target causing dizzy for 3 seconds. And his Reckless Abandon is charging the enemy with the highest combat power, performing a rending strike that deals 225% of attack as physical damage and taunts the target enemy for 5 seconds. So he's going to taunt this enemy for 5 seconds. This is kind of an interesting ability because typically your highest combat power is going to be like a Darizda or a sniper in the back, and so typically they're protected with their frontline tanks and whatever that your team can't get through. So he's going to just bypass all that, go straight to that enemy to take them out. So it'll force the enemy to build their characters with more defense and HP and slow their attack down. So he could be an interesting counter to a Darizda inside of Arena because of this ability, but you'd have to build him with quite a bit of attack and you have to get to this ability. So that's one thing that'd be a little bit hard, but hitting 225% goes all the way up to 325, so he could hit pretty hard with this ability. Resilient Constitution is his passive. He's going to every 6 seconds cleanse the poison effects on him. If he cleanses poison, he recovers 10%. So as far as I know, mostly the poisons you're going to see in this game are in the 3rd dungeon, at least for now, as well as endless battles and things of that nature. So this will have an effect in different areas of the game, but not everywhere. So he can help keep himself alive, but he's probably not going to be able to always do that. So he's definitely going to need the benefit of some sort of healer to help him out. But that being said, that's his kit. Let's go ahead and jump into the Great Forge and see how he does. Alright, so we're in that first room. We're running through. We've got it off 2 times so we can see his ability in action. He's going to be coming in here. It's looking like, I mean, his defense is pretty good. I was a little nervous because he is a Terra character, so he's negative affinity here, and he's underpowered compared to some of the other people that we've brought into this. So that last guy, he hit pretty hard, took him out in 1 shot there. But it was a pretty slow battle for him to get through. But he was doing his thing. I don't know if I saw any heals tick up. I don't know any of these enemies are going to be providing any poisons for him. So that is going to be unfortunate. But if they are, then he does have some healing in his kit. But he didn't take a lot of damage in there. But I'd like to see him hurl some enemies together and cause some knockback with his other ability. So let's see if that guy... I think he knocked him back over him. It was kind of bizarre, I think. But now he's surrounded on all sides, so that's a little rough. He's doing his 5 hacking attacks there. Got through those 2 enemies. So he is taking some damage here. And again, negative affinity and underpowered. So his knockback, he does actually throw them over himself. So that's kind of Interesting. I don't know if that'd be a perk or a negative thing. If you happen to throw an enemy over yourself and then now they're at the back row fighting your ranger, that probably wouldn't be a good thing. All right, so we're in that fifth and final dungeon. I am a little nervous for him because I think typically folks take on a lot more damage in this room, and he's already taking on quite a bit. So it's tough. Like, his kit does crowd control, but it's single target crowd control. But everything he does is kind of doing a little bit of crowd control, but he is definitely not going to make it through here. Yeah, so he is the first character not to make it through. Two things to keep in mind with that. First thing is his affinity. He's negative affinity against Cinder, being a Terra. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is his overall power rating is 100,000 lower than most of the people we've been bringing in here. So it might be worthwhile to do another video on him when I have better gear. But I do think that it's telling how much he struggled in that room by himself. I don't think his individual crowd control abilities were enough to thin the herd. He was just taking a lot of damage. And his poison heals weren't a benefit because nobody's casting poison on him. Now, that being said, if we brought him into that third dungeon, he probably would have a little bit more of a leg up because he's going to get those heals and stay alive. But I honestly think his best use case, and it's pretty hypothetical, is going to be building this skill up and using him as a counter attack to a Durizda in Arena. I think that would probably be his best case scenario. But I haven't seen that specifically in action, so I don't know that to be true. But I do feel like you could build him with enough attack where this would be a one-hit, kill anybody kind of situation. If you had attack boots and attack amulet or some sort of attack here, get attack and crit rate on his abilities so that he's really hitting hard and he's going to crit, he could probably one-shot a Durizda or somebody in the back row, which I think could be useful. I would say early game, definitely going to have a use. He's going to be better than a lot of epic characters out there. He's going to do some work for you. Mid game, I think you're going to probably start to move away from him. I would even argue in the warrior category that Palmera might be a better choice. But I'll do a spotlight video on her, and then we can kind of compare them. But I do think that he's a little bit weak on the legendary side of champions. So let's take a quick look at Tybor in the marketplace. We're on Token Trove here. His current value is at $11.02. It looks like there's quite a few for sale right around there, right around $11 to $12. But his apparently his value's dropped off a little bit in the last couple days. So I don't know if people just not liking him too much or don't have enough use cases for him. Now, his value is only there if you use the Ascension Seals and ascend this champion, but then he could be somebody that you could purchase, or excuse me, you could sell. You could purchase him too, but you could sell him on the Token Trove and try to make a little money. In order to ascend him currently, we're going to be looking at 108 Ascension Seals to do that. So if you break that down at 10 cents a piece, that's going to be approximately $10. If you're doing the Ascension Seals and bundles in the game, I think you get them at 9.25 cents per seal. And if you do them with the GOG tokens through the website, you're going to get even better than that. I think it's like 6.75 cents, if I remember correctly. So figure you're taking 100 of them, it probably costs you about $7 to ascend him. So by ascending him and selling him, you could make about $4 currently as market conditions sit, which always changes. These ascension, the amount of ascension seals required to ascend him changes, and then also the market obviously changes as well. So that's there's money to be made there potentially. If you do pull him and you don't want him, you could go ahead and flip him and try to make a little bit of cash. That's what I got for you on Tybor. He's a fun little badger. If you pull him, he's a cool character to have on your account. But I don't think there's a lot of use cases for him right now. There might be more things in the game as the developers change game modes and do other things that might be a little more useful, especially with that poison healing ability. I think that has a lot of potential to help his survivability, but there's just not a lot of poisons in the game right now. So hope you found that interesting. If you have him, congratulations. He's a fun character. And I really appreciate you taking the time with me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time.